What do you like about your job?
What do I like about my job? I enjoy my job because I like working with very interesting people from across a wide range of the community, and I enjoy the contact, and I enjoy helping people feel better.
Okay. So how did you get started?
Well, I after qualifying as a psychologist, and I came to the UK, I decided to join the NHS, and I found myself in a position in Ilford in Essex, and I had a really nice job there, and I became increasingly involved in mental health, and I found it very rewarding. So I initially started in the NHS as a middle grade psychologist working with adults.
And what advice would you give to someone starting out today?
Oh, I would say get as much experience as you can and get into a good department in the NHS. I would say start in the NHS. Great experience there. Loads of fascinating people to work with and very interesting patients. And you get excellent experience. Definitely. Yeah. I would also say that the NHS is very stretched. So you have to often work under pressure, and there are a lot of demands placed on you. But you get really good supervision in the NHS, and there are opportunities for growth and developing your career and building on your experiences. So it really is one of the best places, I would say, you can start working as a psychologist anywhere in the world. Yeah, and you feel proud to work in the NHS because it's a great institution. Yeah. I would also say that having worked in the NHS for 13 years, I eventually decided to move into the private sector, and now I'm working in the private sector in a clinic which I own together with my partner, who is my wife, Bridget, and we run a clinic there which is very busy, and we get referrals from the NHS, and we refer people back to the NHS, so we continue to have an NHS involvement, which is extremely rewarding.
So what would you say is the big difference between running a private one and sort of working with the NHS? Are there any big differences?
Well, that's a great question, because I would say it makes a big difference whether you start working in the NHS at the beginning of your career or in the middle of your career, because when you start out, you're getting a paycheck every month, and you know where the money's coming from, and there's remuneration based on your efforts, and you can climb up the ladder and eventually become a consultant or a lead in the department or whatever. When you're working privately in your own business, your own practice, then there's a great deal more pressure, because you have to find the referrals, you have to make sure that you get the work coming in, because no work coming in, there's no income. And so you have another pressure on you, which can be extremely stressful. So in my case, I worked for 13 years in the NHS, and then felt that I had enough experience to start out on my own and on our own. But the launchpad of the NHS is really excellent in this particular career, I would say, definitely.